Good evening, everyone. Let me just sort out a little bit of housekeeping for myself whilst we just wait to see what's happening and who's going to join us this evening. It's never, that tells me I've gone live, which is cool. Let's let this catch up. There we are. There we are. And let's see who will join us this evening. Hi, Jan. Thank you. There we are. Let's turn that down. Pop that on. And then we've got a double source of comments. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Julie. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. I trust that everyone is well. The UK, well, my part of the UK has been absolutely vile today. It has been chuckling it down for us today, but it's currently dry and sticky, so I guess you can't have everything, can you? Hi, Sheila. Welcome, my darling. Welcome. It is just turned 6 o'clock. We've done a little bit of prep. I am recycling or upcycling or repurposing an old frame. This was a plain pine frame that had been used for another project, but that won't matter for what I've got in mind, and it's got some depth to it. And all I have done today is prime this with the acrylic primer, which is a fabulous primer for porous surfaces. So that's what I've done there. So let's just took that off to the side, and I've left that to dry. There we are. So we've got some bits and pieces to do. Good evening, Sheila. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome. Right, and I've had a tidy up of my brushes. Believe it or not, I've chucked some out today. Hey. There we are. So let's just put, this is Pentart decoupage glue and varnish in matte. Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah. It's really appreciated. It's so helpful when people do share, because it spreads the love about, and that's lovely, isn't it? It's always nice. So we've got, as ever, some layering to do today with lots of mediums, but yeah, it's also cool. So the backboard of this is just a plain piece of MDF primed with acrylic primer. You could use primer paste or gesso, anything that's going to give you a more neutral background to pop your next thick items onto. And I've chosen this rice paper today from Stamperia. It goes with the Brocante collection, because I rather like it, and it will work with the theme that I'm going for. So let's just pop that over there. I sort of want that title, and it's sort of almost going to, by the time it's in the frame, it'll be fine. So let's just knock out those edges, knock that out, make sure I haven't got any bubbles, and then let's just add a layer of my matte varnish over the top to seal this in, and then that can have a little bit of a dry, and we'll do a little bit of painting of the frame. I've got again for tonight's make relatively few molds. I've decided that well, partly because my hubby's been is very unwell. I was needing quite a lot of care at the moment, that I need just to pare back some of my makes, just so that it's easier for the household. But that doesn't mean that there'll be any the less involved. It just means maybe a bit less for you to watch painting, but it's still the same concept of my make, building in layers. Good evening, Blanche. Welcome, my darling. Thank you for watching. Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome. So as ever, I have kept my glue, so that's going in one direction. So that can now sit and dry. That can go in the wash. These are water-based products, so cleanup is nice and easy. That can tuck down onto the floor. That can actually have a little bit of a natural dry. Because as ever, as you'd expect, we're doing lots of layering. So I have chosen to work with these two colour paints today. So we've got Country Blue, which is a beautiful bluey grey, and Country Rose, which is a really, really soft colour. And I'm thinking that this will work very well with what we're going to be up to. Good evening, Sue. So I'm wanting the blue underneath. So let me just take this. We don't need to do everything because not everything will get covered. There we are. So we'll just add this onto here. It's a matte, creamy matte acrylic. They're beautifully soft paints that go on and cover really well. And you see this is going to take one coat. And I'm doing the inside of here because the inside of these shadow boxes is visible. So it's important to me to make sure everything is nicely covered. There we are. So let's just pop this around. Let's say we're going to do lots of layering, but less mould painting today, just to show that actually sometimes lead, you don't need to have masses and masses to have a lovely project. So there we are, that's the plan. So let's hope it all comes together in the way I intended. I had a little extra thought just before I went live, so we're going to play with that idea. I'm sure it will work, but it's always a bit risky for me to change my mind just literally seconds before the live, but hey ho. That's what happens. I have ideas bumbling around in my head, and they evolve over time. My head's definitely a dangerous place to be when it comes to making things and doing things. So let's just pop that all onto there. It's not so hot today, so I can leave my paints open reasonably well. I just need to take that and get it off the table without making too much of a mess. So there we are. And I don't need all of this to be painted because I'm going to add another layer of paint over the top. So I can add the other colour to the rest of it. And that will make sense when we do it. It will just be a little bit quicker and save me having to paint everything 3 times. And it won't alter the final look of the project. So this is just a very pretty soft blue. That's one of my go-to. The vintage colours and the country colours are definitely amongst my favourite when it comes to the Pentacolor paints. And there we are. So who's wrong? Good evening, Gillian. Yeah, not only have had my hair cut, I have had it dyed as well. I am very fortunate in that my lovely stepdaughter, aka daughter, because that's who she really is a hairdresser. And so she came round to the house this morning and cut and coloured it for me, which is super duper duper. Right, so that can go there and that one can go in there. And that is all we need of that one. Good evening, Juliana. Welcome, my darling. Hello, Laurie. Thank you for joining from the US. Has Bea joined us, or is that you tagging her, Sarah? Either which way, that is rather lovely. So let's just, because there's no choice in the matter, because it's humid. So things are going to take a while to dry today because the atmosphere is wet, so there's nowhere for the water to evaporate into. So that's just a pain. But hey ho. So let's just do this. Yeah. And that is covered. So I've been waiting for today. I've decided I'm going to go. Well, I thought about going grey, Joan, but I look a bit like a haggard old witch. Although I am now 85% grey, it's not a good look. And my lovely daughter won't let me. So to be fair, I have to go. I'm definitely look about 10 years younger, if not 20 years younger, when my hair is a nice colour. Good evening, Lauren. Welcome, welcome, my darling. This is a simple for me, make. All I have done is taken the back of a 8-inch shadow box from a well-known store in the UK, but anyone you can use, but I like the plain wood ones rather than the ones that are plasticized because they're easy to alter. This one had been used before, but I decided it was the contents of that one I had decided to throw out because I got fed up with it, and with the house decorating that went on, I just needed to clear some of the stuff, but the frame was too good to throw away, so we've got the frame to reuse and recycle because that makes more sense, doesn't it? Okay, this still needs to dry. So then I've painted the back of this board with acrylic primer, gesso would work, and then have glued on a piece of rice paper, and then I added decoupage varnishing glue over the top to seal it all in. But I'm wanting to add some extra detail over the top of this background piece, so I need that to be dry before I can do that. So let's just tuck that over there. Okay. Hi, Larry. Welcome, my darling. Welcome. How is the south of the country? I know that it's been definitely wet intermittently here. It's now dry and sticky, whereas it was definitely dry, wet, very wet the first thing this morning. The glue has not completely dried, but hey ho. So that piece I will be able to use for another project. So let me just pop that over there out of harm's way. So I'm wanting to add some extra detail to this. It's still a bit tacky, but we'll probably get away with that. And I've chosen to work with a stencil and to do something that may or may not have occurred to me. I always feel so much better, Joan, when I've had my hair cut. So I have a beautiful stencil here, and I'm intending using this part of it, not that. But we are going to have a mix, and we're going to colour mix for ourselves. And I'm wanting to add a little bit of shine, a little bit of shimmer. So the glazes from Pentart are thick. Hey, oh, she says, pop that into there. I've got a new pug. Why have I got a new one out? Oh, right. Well, let me get the old one, because I've got one already open, so I don't really want to open that new one. There we are. It's my fault for having too many things on the go. There we are. So this is a neutral a neutral colour, and it's got a beautiful pearl colour. So we can have some areas that are going to be pearl, that colour, and some areas that we're going to add in some colours to. There we are. So let's just pop those over there. Thank you, Trina. Welcome, my darling. Good evening, Sheila. It's lovely to see everyone joining me this evening. And someone's got the phone going, but hey ho. Right. So this is Peach Rose. and it's a mica powder. Now, mica powders are shiny, and if you mix these into modelling paste, which you can do, you will end up losing the shine. So I'm rather hoping that by, well, I know what will happen. By mixing it in with the shimmery of the shimmer glaze, I'm going to get a beautiful, soft, shimmery pink. There we are. So that's a very, very pretty pink, and it will dry shimmery because the base product that I'm using is shimmery. Now, this blue is quite strong, so let me just be very careful with how much we add of that. I was about to all for, but I've only lost about half, and it's now quite even. Are you having treatment for something not very pleasant, Joan? Is that what? So that, you see, having said to you it was really bright, that really doesn't look like I've added very much. So let's just try adding another volume of it. It's easier. I mean, I can always add more of the white paste. That's true enough. But because, yeah, so I'm going to have some very soft colours. I still think that's too soft. Yeah, it's not enough contrast, and it certainly won't show us a lot of contrast on camera. I'm sorry, Joan, I hadn't realised that, my darling. Well, I wish that you are comfortable and that you have plenty of time to do whatever you wish to do on your bucket list of things, and time to make lots of memories with your family, for your family to treasure when you've gone. We all die at some stage. It's just part of life's sweet tapestry. But the process is very distressing for lots of people. I understand that. So I've now got a beautiful pink, a soft blue, and some of the white. Well, that's wonderful if you're symptom-free, my darling. And long may that continue, because that is a blessing for sure. So let's just pop this over here. I'm wanting this part to show. The bird might get hidden, but I'm wanting to blend some of these in. So let me see. Let us just take a wee squidge of stencil spray, because I know my ability to stencil. Has stuff. Let's just hope it doesn't pull off the rice paper, shouldn't it? So there we are. So conveniently, if I line that up with that and that up with that, we should then be able to take these colours. And we'll have way too much, because that is just the way of the world. And I might get a purple in the middle, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So I can just add in some of these to shade it all through. But it's just going to add just a little bit, and I've got way too much of these ready. But hey ho, that's just part of life, isn't it? When you're making, some of that will be showing at the bottom. The bird might not be. So let's just add that. Make sure we've got a nice mix over. So we've managed to ombre, mix it through. That's fine. Over there, we can pull out what we don't want, and then let's just take that stencil off there. So I've now got a layered background with some extra colours, so that can go now down on the floor. We might have to worry about what we're going to do with those, but hey ho, rather than waste them, we'll stick it over there for the moment. And then let's just give this a little bit of a clean. There we are. pop it round the, let's see, put it round the right way. So let's just tuck one of the, good evening, Isabel. Welcome, my darling. Welcome. There we are. Let's tuck 2 of those on there. Pop that onto there, and then I can rub through. Because this is a beautifully detailed stencil, and I don't necessarily want to let it go into there and seal. So I've, yeah, and then I've caught one of that. Maybe I'll just bend that back. So hopefully that will now be much better and won't end up cream crackered. Those can go over there for using. We have too many things around us. There we are. That can go over there, and that can go on the floor. That needs a bit of a blast dry. And we can put some of these mediums out of sight, off sight, out of mind. I don't need those on the table at the moment, so they can go off to the side as well, which is cool. Yeah. So I ummed and ahed about using a crackle paste for the cracking paint system for my crackle, and then decided against it. So I am using the Point Art 1 component crackle medium, which is a PCP crackle. So paint it up, put a paint layer on, add your medium, let it dry, pop another layer on over the top. There we are. And by doing it this way, I can avoid having to, I think, spend so long having everything drying. It's always, there is definitely an art to live management. So that needs now to sit there, and that needs to dry. So we can pop that over there, out of harm's way. That can go down there. That can go down there. That can go down there. We will need it out at some point, because that's life, isn't it? So let's just use that packet. So these are from, I think it's a Vagabond Fantasy, but they're nice scrolly brocante type molds. I have cast these in my normal resin. There may be some surprise new product arriving at some stage over the summer. Oops, probably shouldn't have said that. Then I have covered these with bonding primer so that I can get good adhesion of my paint. And these are going to be with this beautiful country rose colour. Let's get rid of that gubbins off there. Fish that dried piece out of there before it ends up being stirred in, and then I have lots of lumps, which won't be a good look. So let's just see how much mess I can make of my hands today. She says, famous last words. So the art is, I'm told, to do the edges first. Wow. And that's, I suppose that is logical, isn't it? Because then you've got your hands out of, you know, in areas of the molded piece that are not painty. But I'm sure I can still manage to get a goodly covering of paint over my hands, because, you know, well, why wouldn't I? It's just part of life, isn't it? For me, painting and getting stuff under me. There we are. So that's it. As I say, it's a beautiful, beautiful, very soft, very, very soft pink. Just right, I think, for a feminine piece. So there we are. I'm thinking I might have to do something with rust. I haven't done something with anything very rusty for a long time. So I'm thinking that might happen at some point over the next few months. The rest of the next couple of weeks are already planned. But they have had a little bit of a change in plan. But that's also cool. With secret squirrel stuff that I can't actually tell you any more about, except that I'm rather excited about it. The secret squirrel stuff arrived by courier from Hungary today. So that's cool, isn't it? Oh, there we are. So let's just make sure we've got enough paint into these. There we are. And we've got them all covered. There we are. I do think it's nice to be able to have projects that are different and that allow us to customize our home. There's me thinking I was going to use a ton of paint and might need the second pots. And my bad, I have 2 pots of these colours on the go, which is never good. But I did open them up, so I did before the live to make sure that they were all good. There we are. Cool. So let's just pop that over there for the moment. We're going to swap that over. I think your knee, my darling, is sore. Because you're not walking normally with your broken ankle. Now this might be a challenge because it's on plastic. Actually, tell you what, we'll take that off there. And we'll rather than risk that, we'll just tuck that on the floor for the moment and we'll try something else. Whilst the going is good. There we are. Here. Just clear off the medium that's run down the sides. So I don't particularly want crackle on the sides. There we are. So let's just get this dry. The glaze will dry very quickly on its own, but I now have a very pretty background. It's beautifully shimmery. And that means that I can do one of 2 things. I can put the glass back in this if I want to, or I can leave the glass off. Now the joy of having the glass in, of course, is it means that the contents don't then get dusty, which is sometimes helpful. And I'm keeping this moving because I don't particularly want any of this medium that I popped under here to bubble. It's drying quite nicely without bubbling, which is always a positive. You just need to be patient. And of course, the heat gun is now making me hot and sticky. Sure. There we go. There we are. So, has anyone got anything nice planned for the rest of this week? I will be back with a live on Sunday on my own page at my regular time. I'm busy on Friday. but busy in a good way. I have to take my hubby for his his diabetic eye appointment tomorrow, where we'll get lots of drops put in his eyes and then not be able to see to drive himself home. So we'll be off doing that in the afternoon. Hi Jill, that's lovely, because I phoned one of the children earlier on and got no reply, and the house phone has just gone, and whether hubby's answered it, I'm not sure. I've just got one area, a couple of areas of this end left. I'm assuming that camping children in Dorset are happy and that Tom is now recovered and well, and that they've enjoyed their trip so far. Doing defib training tomorrow. Yes. I've taught lots of people how to use defibs, and as a very young doctor, used it a few times. I've used it lots of times on mannequins, but thankfully never had to, only once had to use a defib on a child in real life, which I'm eternally grateful. Right. But I do firmly believe that every child, every teenager in the UK and every child in college age should have to have had the life support training and know how to use defibs effectively. And I just think that it would just be much safer for everyone to do that. Cool. You are being spoiled, Sarah, with those. Yeah, I should probably, well, I will try to watch Pretty Get Swifty on. Right, I think that might just be that dry enough. Right. Let's do it by painting. So, depending on how you put your crackle glaze paint on, you'll get different effects. So, this is why I didn't bother crackling this, because I wasn't overly mithered. But I can have a nice pink surface. There we are. Let's just pop that into there. Pop that onto there. Paint that. Go around the edge. That will let this top settle down a little bit. You can always add a second coat off live anyway to this. There we are. And it's all settled down. But this is why I didn't bother painting the back of it pink, because it didn't seem to me to be logical to paint the back of it pink when the back of it blue, even when I knew that I was going to be adding paint on the top of this. So let's just turn that round and let's just add a reasonable thick layer of this, so I don't have to overwork it, because if you overwork the crackle, you just lift it off. So it's a look, but maybe not quite the one that you want. There we are. Excuse that squeaking on the table, because that's not quite what I wanted to happen. Ooh, there we are. There we are. Cool. Have I managed to get? I have managed to get. Hey, cool. Right, that can go into there. Right, so let's just give that another bit of a blast. I can definitely see that on my camera, on my computer, I've got some beautiful crackle, and I've got the blue tones. So my frame now has the blue tones that I've put into the background of my rice paper, because they weren't there to start with, and they've got the pink tones, and this is flat. So the flat colour will emphasize the shine of the shimmer. There we are. Just give that area, there's just a rather thick area of paint there that just needs a little bit of a dry before I try lifting this up and wrapping it. There we are. So that can now go onto the floor. We'll go onto that. Right. Okay. So let's just give this a bit of a blast dry. So when I was thinking about this, I didn't really want the corsets on full show, and that's partly why I decided to add the stenciling over the top, but I did want the mannequin, so, and that's the effect that I've got. So it looks like I've got some old paper in the background, but with some stenciling over the top, and that has a beautiful shimmer created from the pearl white shimmer glaze, and then some of the art micas. So any mica powders will do, but they will, as I say, they'll still stay shimmery because of the pearl shimmer glaze. If I've mixed them into the matte gel medium, or or the glossy gel medium, then the glossy gel medium, they'd have stayed shiny, and there's been a transparency, but they'd have been much brighter colours, and I wanted the soft pastels. And if I'd mixed them into the ordinary gel medium, the matte one, I'd have lost the shimmer along the way. So let us just, because we needed to do a little bit of building up here. So that is going to sit on there. Doesn't need to be stuck down, but I do need to know where it's going to be for practical purposes. So let us, because we have them out, start building some layers and some detail. I know I can't go forward of this piece, because if I try to go forward of there, then clearly my frame won't go on. Is that a problem? No, it actually isn't, and it might be an advantage, because it might allow me to see a little bit more and that beautiful shimmer. So these are just canvas spacers. They're just going to help lift this forward, and the brocante piece is a wooden shape from the collection, so I can just pop some of that onto there, pop that onto there, and I'm going to pop that about there, and that means now I can start to add my layers. So this is a piece of ephemera, she says. There we are, we have managed to get it off. So it has a sticky surface of its own, but I am going to add just a little bit extra, because I'm not too sure that long term it will hold. So there we are. That's going to allow me to put that there, and that can tuck onto there. I have some boxes, so let's just pop one of those into the middle. And put some of that at the edges, So I've got a little bit, but not lots of shape to that. And that then can sit into there, tucked behind there. I have another of the wooden shapes. So that can go into there. And we have, let's just have it so it looks like it's sitting on the back of a shelf. And the little clock. Oops. So there we are. Pop that there. And then we have some extra pieces here that we're going to pop in. So I want that piece to go underneath there. So let's just pop a little bit of that. And the gel medium is going to allow me to lift and wriggle, which is cool for doing this. Okay. So we've got another. I have this all worked out. I don't want that there. I don't want that there. There we are. Definitely had it like that. So there we are. Let's just, can I put another layer onto there? Probably not, because of wanting to pop teddy bear half on and half off. The teddy bear is now going to sit there. Cool. And then we have some extra bits and pieces. So we've got some more florals that I'm going to tuck in to fill some of this spaces up. So I'm thinking that that might work quite nicely up and over the top. Got a little bow, so that can go on the top of the hat box, because I think it will look quite nice there. And then we've got these little extra pieces that I then just need to think about where I want to pop them. So I'm going to pop a little floral there. Just curved it with my fingers, but blob of that underneath there. Oops, stick that underneath there. There we are. Let's lift that up a bit. That's going to sit onto there. Okie dokie. I have a feeling that is going to sit just too proud if I pop that onto there. So we've got some more of these little florals. So we're going to tuck these in and around, because to me it makes sense to do that. There we are. And I can still see the word antiquities, and I've got Brocante Antiques there. So let's just tuck that into there. So we're just building a little garden underneath. As I say, the intention is to keep this really quite pared back tonight. So that's going to go underneath there. And this is just all from one ephemera pack and one pack of, there we are, pop that one onto there, of wooden shape. So that can go into there like that. And you could just leave it there. But then as I say, I had a little bit of a wobble before, and I thought maybe it wasn't quite enough. So I'm just going to have a little bit of play in my mind, and I might decide that I don't like this, but I might decide that I do. So I quite like that tucked into there with the pieces tucked under. These are just some mulberry flowers, and if I've got one, I definitely need to add more than one. That might well work. Let's just see. I think that will work. I've got several different colours and several different sizes, so I might just move that into there and then tuck that little rose just underneath there. Yes, so I quite like that. So let's just pop these down. That can go there. I did get out some lace, but I'm going to leave the lace off. There we are. Just fill that into there. And I don't know that I need lots of extra pieces, but we might just tuck in just a few more floral elements, just for a little bit of extra interest. So little mulberry flowers, easy enough to find. That one will look just cute, tucked into there. And I can pop another one there. Let's see what we've got. I think we're going to tuck you just tucked underneath there. There we are. So we've got, let's just straighten that up. There we are. The joy of the gel medium means that we can think that they're then reasonably straight. There we are. So that looks reasonably nice to me. I've got some other roses, but I think that they're going to be too dark. So I'm going to leave those off to the side. So this stage is about just building your depth and your imagery. I'm not too sure that I really want a flower between his legs, but there you go. Let's see what it looks like. Let me flick it out now, having popped it under there. Definitely don't like it, and now we've moved that one out of the way, but hey ho, let's just tuck you into there, tuck you down a little bit. Those can sit into there, that one can come off there, and of course I've wobbled that in the process. Are we straight? Yeah, I think we probably are. Okay, so as I say, I have a frame, so that, let's just tuck these out of the way. Will now sit on there. Okay. Let's just tuck you all the way down. There we are. Okay, so that's now sitting. Okay. And I can push this lot all forward into here and lock it in place. Just need to be slightly careful it doesn't all go and slide off. There we are. Excellent. Okay, so let's just pop those like that for the moment. Now I have two options. I could put my glass into here, but as I say, I think I'll lose some of my shimmer by doing that. And I have some extra pieces, so let's just tuck those off out of harm's way for the moment. And let's just give these a little bit of a dry, because that's what they need at the moment. Hi Denai, good evening Faith, hello Lorraine, good evening Anna, thank you all for joining me this evening, it's really appreciated. I'm very fortunate, I've got a group of very loyal people who come in and watch and support me when I'm doing my lives, but there's quite a lot of work that goes into doing them, and I do feel very sorry for creatives when they only have a few people online, although of course a lot of the lives will get watched back post live, so which is also good, isn't it? There we are. I just need these to dry, and we're going to add in some glue onto these. Because otherwise they're sort of going to get a bit lost on the frame. So that's also fine. I really have pared it back tonight, I think, looking at the time and where we're going. Oh yeah, just get these to dry. Okay, cool. So let's just go back to our blue paint. And let's just take a little bit of that blue paint, squash it off my brush, and then with it flat, I'm going to use the blue paint in the same way as I might use a wax. Just going to use it to pick up the details in the mould. And the key is very little paint and then to keep the brush flat. So I'm using the brushes like this. Light strokes, you can go back in. You can rescue it if you overdo it, but that really means letting the whole thing dry and repainting it. And the issue with that is that you can then sometimes just lose some of the details in the molds because you've just added too many layers of paint. So there we are. There we are. But by adding this, just makes a difference. You could add a varnish onto the top of these once they're dry, if you wanted to. I would use a matte varnish because the whole rest of the project is reasonably matte, but there we are. Okay, let's just pop that onto there. Let's just clean up the mess. Sarah, if I ate the amount that you ate, my darling, I would be the size of a horse, and I'm big house, and I'm quite big enough. Is it? You make me very jealous because all of your meals sound absolutely yummy, yummy, scrummy. Yummy, yummy, scrummy. So there we are. So let's just now add these in to. I look forward to hearing your menus for the days. It has to be said. Let's just. Add some there, and I can line that up. Come, sir. There we are. So I'm using the mold to line these up so that they're symmetrical. Which is always helpful. There we are. So I've got a bevel on my frame, and then I can have these reasonably centralized around. And it's just adding just another little layer of detail onto the piece. There we are. Let's see if we can. There's a gap there that I'm not liking, so I'm umming and ahhing about just filling that gap in with a little bit extra, because to me it needs it. There's nothing like being fussy, is there, when you're making? There really isn't. There we are. I don't actually have another one of those florals, and if I add another colour, I'll have to add more than one of them in. Do I want to add? Oh, let's straighten. Both can be on the wall, that's fine. Ugh, get off. Little bits. Yeah, I do want that tucked under, poke it underneath there. It's just filling a gap. There we are. Okay. So, as I say, we have a pared back make that hasn't taken forever. Yeah, I had thought about it. I did know what I was doing. I had, a good idea as to where I was going and what I was going to do and what I wanted the piece to look like. But it doesn't, although it counts as a mixed media piece, it's pretty pared back. We've got some rice paper, we've got some stenciling, we've got some shimmer, we've got the matte of the crackle, and then we've got the layering of the pieces. So that to me works very nicely. I'm just about to carry. Thank you, Gillian. Yeah. Well, you see, for me, this is very pared back, but I don't think you always have to go full on, because there's lots of detail in that rice paper in the background, and then I've added the extra pieces. So I've got lots of layers and interests, and I have to say that I'm really pleased with it. Which, I need to think about what I'm going to do with the bucket load of paste that I had out. I can think of a use for some of it. Let me just, don't want a little bit. Yeah, let's just, so we can take some of that little pearl paste and just add some little bits. So this will help link. This is just the pearl shimmer glaze that I'm using, so that these pieces look like they're part of the project. There we are. I think, and I could quite happily carry on playing for hours doing this, but you don't need to. That little bit makes all the difference. So I will be back for Pentart next week. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to say what I'm going to be doing, but we're going to be almost certainly with some sequel squirrel projects, providing they're ready for that. And it's going to put me outside my comfort zone again, but hey ho, that's life. And it's good to be pushed and do things that are different. So ladies, and please take care, enjoy yourselves, look after each other. Remember, whatever you're doing, please be kind. We never know the backstory as to what's going on in someone's life, and a little bit of kindness and a smile and a hug actually costs us nothing and may actually make someone feel a shed load better. So take care, everyone, and I will see you online soon. Bye.